All right, welcome everyone. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to have a chat with the original bass player and also founding member of the band, Shadows at Bay, Clinton.
Hey, how's it going?
Yes, good. And we're going to test to see how this goes, being the first time doing video recording. So hopefully it's smooth and runs really well.
I'm here for the first of everything.
It's true. It is true. So first thing I want to touch base on is something that we've spoken about quite a bit, and a very large, important part of the history of the band is the first 5 songs. The first 5 songs that were recorded and put together. So just to go a little bit back before then, the creation of the 5 songs and why I chose to start those 5 songs. If I remember correctly, and we were friends during this time as well, so it wasn't like we didn't just meet once a band started. So
no, not at all.
I'm very curious throughout this whole conversation too to see how our memories have formed all this stuff that's happened, because I'm sure there might be some discrepancies or things that I remember slightly different than you.
I can imagine there would be.
Yeah. I just want to put that disclaimer out straight away, because it is going to happen.
No, I wrote that song, not you.
So I remember at the time I was jamming a couple of little bands here and there, but they weren't really going anywhere. They never left the rehearsal rooms. And the main group of musos I was working with, I remember the key point for me to go, all right, I need to change what I'm doing as a musician, was there was 2 opinions. One of them said, multiple of them said, sorry, they got no interest in playing live music. They're just happy writing music in the studio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotta play live.
But it got caught into an interesting trap as a musician, because songs never were finished. They kept working on it, and it never got completed.
Yeah.
So that was another thing for me to go, all right, I've got to get out of this little rut. And another one of the musos I was working with wanted to play live only if it was like to 1,000 people or more. I'm like, okay, Tiger, sure.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. I'm sure any musos out there, local or big, know that, wow, you've got to start off playing to just a bartender first before you actually can build a crowd, build an audience, build momentum, and actually get the thing going. Expecting just to step out there on a crowd of, all right, I'm really venting here, and just realise, like, hang on. Yeah, but going out there expecting you to play in front of thousands of people straight off the bat is ridiculous.
It's hopeful.
It is hopeful.
Wishful thinking, but no.
I don't know. There's a part of me that just thinks you are really, I don't know, you think you're self-important, yeah. So what I decided to do was like, all right, cool, I'll start doing my own songs then to see where they can go. And so I don't know how many songs I wrote. It was a bucket full, and I kept trying to get singers to come in, and try out for it. And I don't think it's, I don't know. I can't recall how many vocals I got in, but it would have been over 10. Came in, tried out the songs, tried doing it, and for many reasons it didn't work. Like one of them was, I think you met Jess.
I did.
Like that was awesome.
A couple of times.
That was great. I got to work with her, and she wanted to start her own band and do her own thing, which
very
is really
talented,
cool.
Jess.
Oh, very, very talented, and very switched on with music, the music industry, and understanding the hard work that goes behind it to get to where you need to get to, wherever that is you want to go. So there's lots of positive aspects that came from that as well. So they weren't just all negative. So what I decided to do then was I was like, all right, I'm going to write these songs and sing them. I tried singing a few times before in the past. When I say the past, from that point on, it was probably 5-6 years before that. I really tried. And gave it a crack a few times, which is actually the inspiration to me giving up smoking.
It's a good way to give up smoking.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what inspired the first 5 songs that really kicked the band off.
Yeah.
And the big question is, do you remember the 5 songs? As in the title of them. I'm sure you'd remember them.
Yeah. I reckon number one, and it's always been a staple in our band, is Come Undone. That was one of the first ones.
Yeah, that was one of them.
Damaged Hearts would have been the other one. I reckon Lies, Rain, and which actually back then was called Black Rain.
Black Rain. Yep, that was the original title.
Now, the other one I think was Nothing Will Change.
Boom. Got it.
There we
Got
go.
it in one.
So, I think because I've played them so many times that they've just stuck in there somewhere.
Yeah, same here, definitely. But there was another song too, which was Not So Clear.
Yes. Big fan of that one.
Which I think I actually finished composing it fully for your last gig that you did with us.
Okay.
And there's no sentimental purpose behind it. It was just purely coincidental that I wrote that song, tried it out. And
it took you a few years then
yeah.
to actually get it done from when I started. Because 6-7 years I was in the band for. So it took you about that long to actually get that song completed. Yeah, there you go.
Well, actually, even talking about that, FLM, that took months because I was never happy with going from the verse to the chorus. I think it was. I never liked the link.
Yep.
So it never got anywhere until I found that 3 seconds worth of music to go. There it is. That's it. That's what it needs.
That's what I needed.
And then that song is and still is our finishing song for every time we play live. That is the song that we finish on.
Yep. It's a bit of fun song to play.
There's plenty of times we tried other songs to finish on and it just didn't feel right and it wasn't
didn't
cool.
work.
No.
And actually, I remember the crowd a couple of times saying, "Why didn't you finish with FLM?" They came up to us and like, "Where was FLM? Why wasn't that at the end?" So it just pumps us up and leaves us wanting more.
Oh, when we finished on Come Undone one time, and I think it was Steve from Katana Cartel came up and said, like immediately straight after the gig, "Go, why the hell didn't you open with that song?"
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what the hell? That really hard punching. Like, you got to open with that. Open with it. It was like, cool. The one time we try something different, we get slammed.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was always the opening song as well.
Always the opening song. Yep.
Awesome. I remember that day quite well.
Was that
because you got me in
Bendigo? No, it wasn't the Bendigo. It was Brunswick Hotel.
Yes, it was the Brunswick. We changed it up. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember you showing me the songs very, very first starting off when we were starting to get, before we even decided that, you were going to join a band, you just wanted to write songs for yourself.
Yep.
I was actually over there for guitar lessons because you bought me a guitar for my birthday. And you're like, I see the rocker in you.
I remember that.
And you're here's a guitar.
I say I remember that, but I forgot that until you said that. Now that's right, because we started hanging out during that time anyway. So
we were work colleagues first, and then our love of music sort of brought us together a bit further. And then as I say, you bought me a guitar for my birthday, and I'm like, well, I figure I need to actually figure out how to play this thing. So I had a few lessons with you. But then, you showed me some of the songs that you were working on. And I'm like, these are sounding really cool. I love how the songs that come together. I love your voice with these songs, which is probably why you went through 10 vocalists before you actually realized that, hang on a second, I can sing these songs myself. And I'm like, hang on a second. You need a bass player. I figured bass play 4 strings, probably a lot easier than 6. We'll give it a shot. So that's and I remember that. So that's probably why those 5 songs really do stick in my head, because they were the first ones I ever learned how to actually play a song.
Yeah, I definitely remember that when you came around to hear them for the first time. Because I remember I had those 5 songs on a blank, burnt CD, listening to them and mucking around with them and whatnot. And I just had no idea. Like, I was really in this, and I'm sure a lot of other musos out there will relate to this. When you're in that weird limbo, I play music, but I'm not doing anything. I'm playing music, but I don't have that home yet, and it's not sitting anywhere. And even with vocals, then, like, it was weird because I knew how to sing, and I used to give like basic singing lessons and all that as a music producer, because I also recorded a bunch of bands back then as well.
Well, that's really actually when I met you. Sorry, when I actually was coming over to do guitar lessons with you, you were actually recording a band at that particular point in time. You were producing for them.
That was Lucid Falls, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Who changed their name to Optic during that project?
Optic. Yep.
Yeah. Which is funny because their drummer wrote the drums for those first 5 songs.
He did. Oh my God, he was a phenomenal drummer. Like, I remember you saying, I've got this idea for a song. I'll send it to you. Within about 10 minutes later, he's already got a drum beat recorded down for it.
Yeah, and he sent it back, and we're like, I haven't finished my hot drink yet. What the hell? Yes, we're definitely pleasantly surprised. Pete, he was great guy too. Great guy, great drummer. And he definitely helped ignite the band. Yeah,
I see where it could actually go, where those songs could go with that backbeat behind it. And then changing up the guitars to match the backbeat and everything like that was just, phenomenal.
And that's one thing we've definitely learned over the years is how important a drummer is. And I don't say that as in I've never thought they were important. As in regards to the impact on my personal playing that a drummer can have.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's been drummers that I've worked with in the past where I've had to step it up to cover for them.
Yes.
Because they haven't quite given the energy and the oomph that I want for the songs. I want for however I'm playing, whenever I'm playing. And there are some drummers that come along where they give me the push and I kind of feel like, whoa, all right, here we go. I need to step it up now. And I just love that. I love that feeling of just being energized and pushed and really challenged in a way to make me a better player and to bring the songs to a different plateau.
Our very first drummer that we had for Shadows, Matt, was again, he pretty much matched Pete with the drumming skills, and that just brought us to a whole new level. And we were fortunate, but we're also very, very privileged to actually have a drummer of that capability to start off our very first band. And he was just phenomenal. Like the dude was a walking metronome. It was amazing.
All right, let's just go back a little bit before that then.
Yep.
And let's have a quick conversation leading into when Maddie joined the band.
Sure.
So when we very first started, when we decided, here we go, let's do this. Actually, let's talk about the name of the band, because I think we have different opinions on how the name came around.
Yep.
Right, so I'll give you my version, and then you disagree.
Let's see your take on it.
All right.
Yeah, I will.
Because I remember I was reading some literature. I can't remember what it was. No, I can't remember who wrote it or anything back then. But they said something along the lines of like to keep the evil vibes like close to you so they don't go out. And I was like, I remember reading it and I got kind of frustrated with it because I'm like, it was a really long paragraph and a really, really long written. And I was like, no, what they're talking about is just like keeping your shadows at bay, keeping them close to you, keeping them in check, keeping all that, like external things from the closet being bursted open, or keep the liquids in the balloon before they pop out and things like that. And that's when I thought of the term shadows at bay.
Yep.
then I remember, like, I recall going, oh, I was going to write that down. And then I couldn't get off message once I actually thought that.
Yep.
But, all right, here we go. That has a really nice ring to it, and I love the meaning behind it. Oh, yeah, the different ways how it can be interpreted and brought to it, and especially like the songs that we were writing with the lyrics. I thought this is ticking all the boxes. Because I don't know how many band names we went through before that. Not
There's a lot.
Yeah, none of them stuck, so to speak, or we didn't call ourselves anything else but Shadows at Bay.
No, it's always
but there was definitely a decent list of band names.
It definitely was. I remember when you actually pitched me Shadows at Bay, and I'm like, what the hell's the ocean got to do with it? This doesn't make sense.
Oh, heaps of people have said that. I was like, yeah.
Oh. And it wasn't until you explained it to me that I'm like, hang on a second, that name, that fits with how dark your writing was back then. I think it still is now, according to the new album. Yeah. But I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. Let's just hope you keep your Shadows at Bay. We'll see how we go with that.
Because I remember even we were dealing with artists, and they were like, oh, we could have like a ghost hovering over a sea. And I'm like, what the hell is that representing? What are we talking about? Yeah. And then they had to tell me like your band name. Like I was like, what? What the? Because it never crosses my mind to think of like the ocean. But yeah, I do like water and I like the sea, and I've got no quarrels with it, but it just never crosses my mind.
Well, that's I always have a chuckle. Language for you. Yeah. So yeah, one word, 50 million different reasons. So
yeah. It definitely made me laugh any time someone brings it up on that perspective. So how do you remember the title of the band?
To be quite honest, that's probably one of the ones that I don't really remember, because once Shadows at Bay actually came up, that was it. That was as simple as that. As I said, once you actually explained it to me first off there, because, yeah, I'm like, what does Shadows have to do with an ocean? But, yeah, once we actually had that name, that was it. That was it. That just stuck. It seemed to fit the band really, really well. I remember, probably a good 20, 30 odd names that we were starting to go with, but none of them were right. But then we had to try and figure out how we were going to write Shadows at Bay. Is it going to be with the at symbol?
I forgot about that. Yeah, she had little at, the A with a circle around it or not.
Like, it just doesn't it makes it unprofessional. Like, I don't know, it just didn't suit the style of the band to have
before
like
Instagram and all that, so there was no issues with platform clashing. It was just us.
Could you imagine Shadows at Bay at whatever it is?
Yeah. Or your email address. What the hell?
Yeah. So, but no, as I say, once it actually stuck, then trying to come up with a logo or something for it, and that's where actually we got the girl concept out of it. And yeah, that was definitely your driving idea as well, is to push the almost like a mirrored girl. We had a picture that was the two girls that was basically a mirror effect, and then they were touching hands and this light shining out from that, one representing in the real world, the other one representing the shadows. And yeah, from there, that was cool. Trying to use that logo for absolutely everything that we could was awesome.
Yeah, because that was one where I mucked around with it for a while, and my drawing skills are appalling.
Yeah.
At their best, they're appalling. So you actually freehanded it after that and helped reinterpret what the hell I was trying to do.
I tried.
First run. Well, it worked. It worked for many years. We used that until we had some fan art done, and
actually a proper drawer. Yeah.
Like that's still the background on my mobile phone to this day. I love it that much. It was so amazingly put together. And they contacted us, and she said, "Oh, do you mind if I do some fan art?" And I was like, "What?"
Yeah, which is amazing.
Okay, you do whatever. And then she did it, and I was like, can I use this for everything? She's like, yeah, I don't care. Go for it, crazy.
Yeah. And that's really
Oh.
humbling to actually have a fan come up to you and say, hey, can I do some artwork for you? Or can I contribute to the band some way? To know that I think that's the whole reason of joining a band, is to actually be able to touch someone like that, to say, hey, yeah, well, if our music has actually inspired you to do something, then by all means, we love that. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was definitely one of the first touches where that actually happened. I think the next time was when we had H in the band.
Yep.
Because we put out there to get a second guitarist happening, and he just sent us a what's it called? Some position of interest or whatever.
Yep.
And he actually sent a sound file of him playing one of the songs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I was like,
I remember that.
That's nothing how I play it, but I love this. I'm like, wow. this is completely different, but I love it.
Yep. Definitely, I do remember that.
When I told him the song, he was like, what the hell? I was like, yeah, you're way off, but it's still really cool. Like,
it was awesome that you gave it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, we didn't ask for it. We didn't prompt anything. He just did it off his own back, and I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just to go back quickly on the name Shadows at Bay, because I think you're I think you're in the same boat as I am, where with the name now, it's become that strong in our lives where it is actually a part of us now. Like Shadows at Bay, I definitely identify myself as Shadows at Bay now, no matter what's going to happen, no matter what other projects I've done and will do. Shadows at Bay will always be like a part of me and a part of my identity.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. It's when you create something from the ground up, and then you have a long run with it. Like, as I said, I was in it for 6-7 years now. And how long has Shadows been going for now? Be 10, 11, 12, 13 years. Be close enough to it, because I think I've been out since about 5 years.
I'm not sure, but I'll trust your math.
So yeah,
it's day-to-day life, so it's like, it's just there.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's ingrained in you. But it is a bit of a proud moment when, as I say, you bring something up from the ground up and it does become successful, or you do have a lot of fun with it, even if it doesn't get to the success that you may want. As long as you're having fun with it and it inspires you to do other stuff, then it's always going to be within you. As to, as you say, a part of you, ingrained in you, and part of your blood, and so forth. So it's a good feeling. It's a very good feeling.
Yeah, it really is, and it's also that whole what we talked about before of having that belonging as well.
Yes,
and it's a real flowering effect where first you find like yourself to some extent, then you find your group, and then you find that community. And that community is a real thing that drives me and inspires me.
Yes.
Like the amount of friends I found and made through playing live and sharing the stage, and even the bands I've yet to share stages with, I still feel like I'm friends with them because I've supported them and they've come supported us.
That's the beautiful thing about the music scene, is it doesn't matter whether you're a player, producer, or a fan. Everybody in there is there for the love of music, and everybody there wants to support the love of music. And that's just, as you say, it's a great community to be a part of.
Absolutely. All right, let's go back and have a quick chat, because we have jumped all over the shop. Let's go back to, so you first joined you technically didn't join the band. You were there and created the band with me.
I'd like to think that I was part of the creation of the band.
Yeah. So I don't want to use a term when you join the band, because it's when there was light, then there was it was that point you were at the band.
Yes.
It was just the two of us before we had Maddie the drummer, and before we started doing electric gigs. We actually started off doing acoustic shows.
Yes.
And it seems like I don't know how many shows we actually did. It seemed like countless numbers of acoustic shows we did first before we started doing electric.
There's a couple that definitely stand out, but yes, we've done a few. I remember the very very first one that we actually did was at the Acoustic Cafe in Collingwood.
On Johnson Street.
Collingwood. Yeah,
and that was still going.
It was very, very, very small, to the point where we had to. It was.
It was so cute and like cozy. I loved it.
Well, our stage was a bench seat sitting up against the window. That was our stage. And
if you flipped the guitar back, you would hit the window.
Well, half of my bass was actually covering the door.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I was on the right and the front door was at the left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we played. I think we ended up playing 5 songs that night, or 6 songs, which was pretty much all we knew at that particular stage. But we had the house packed. I was like, this is our first acoustic gig ever. You can barely walk in here. Obviously, being small, it's gone from being maybe 20 people, and it feels like the whole room is like 500 deep. But I remember we come to our last song, and that was FLM. And for those who don't know what FLM is, it's actually Fucked It Like Me. It's got a lot of swearing in the chorus.
It's on our debut album if you haven't got it yet. That's
there you
free. Go
plug. And there was an old couple sitting at the bar, and they were not happy, to the point where they're like,
nope, they were not.
Disgusting language. And they got up, they tried to walk out, but because my bass guitar was blocking
covering the front door,
they actually had to walk around the bass guitar, try and open up the door to be able to get out while still having an angry look on their face. It was quite hilarious. Like, it took all my power not to crack up laughing while still trying to play.
I think I definitely giggled.
Oh,
when I realized what's happening, because when they got up and started going, I was like, "That's fine." Like I don't think they dug our tunes from word go.
I think so
this
either.
was just the final straw for them.
Yes. But
yeah,
after that,
definitely a memorable moment.
Of course. But after that gig, we actually got met with a lot of applause and admiration. So I was absolutely wrapped with that particular gig, which inspired us to go further. And that's, I think, because that was our very first gig, we ended up playing more and more and more from that, just because, again, the community of the music lifted us up and made us want to push on more.
Oh, look, at the end of the day, if we're getting zero reception from it, and if people were like, surely there would have been a point where we were like, all right, this isn't working.
No, exactly. There's something wrong.
I don't think we would have stopped, but we definitely would have tried something else. There would have been something for us to click to go, all right, we're not on the right path here. We're seeing other, you look at the results. Other bands are doing better, we're not. But we're very lucky that wasn't the case. We had a lot of support from other musicians and other just fans and part of the community of music. Really did help inspire us to keep pushing. And just, I don't know, it's weird because you don't want to have that point to go, I only do it because people say they like me doing it. No, like, I like doing it too. I love doing it. But when you get that reassurance to say you are on the right track, what you're doing is working, and keep going.
100%.
It's just so.
It's a great feeling.
It's it's a great feeling. It's nice and it's warm, and it inspires you to keep going and to keep pushing on. Because especially when you do studio stuff, when you're in the just in these 4 walls, not knowing if the next riff is going to be decent. Is this next line you're singing going to be decent? Is anyone going to actually like it, or am I just, So you got to find that nice balance of not being selfish and just doing it for you, but also, doing it for them as well, but not so much where it's not you anymore, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. You still keep your core. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your moral cause to what you're doing in music. But yeah, we did heaps of shows. We did the Blues. I don't know what the hell it was called, Blues Cafe or something.
Bar.
Blue Bar.
Blues Bar.
Yeah, in the country. We did a fair few shows there. That was great.
Yeah. Did a couple of shows in Melton as well. Acoustic ones there. That was fun.
Yep.
But it wasn't until we decided, hey, you know what? I think we need to take the next step up. We need to go electric.
Yeah.
That things really started taking off.
Yeah.
And that's where we started playing the places. And that was fun.
It's actually interesting because the acoustic community was really strong and big.
It was.
And I think that was great for us to start there and really get that experience and really get that feel to find our feet in the music scene for the band.
Actually, touching on that, for those people who are unsure of themselves, open mic nights and anything acoustically, massive confidence boost. You get so much experience, even if you tank it and you stuff up somehow, you forget lyrics, whatever. First off, if it's original songs, no one cares because they don't know.
They don't know. It's fine.
Secondly, everybody's there because they want to listen to people who are up and coming. They're not there for the big gigs. If they were there for the big gigs, they'd be selling out arenas. They wouldn't be selling out little cafes. So it's always good to get that big confidence boost to actually go, hey, guess what? I can actually play. I can actually be here and entertain a crowd. So if you're ever looking at starting up, best way of doing it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I second that wholeheartedly. Yeah, like I remember I was talking to one girl who I made friends with, Rachel, at the Acoustic Cafe.
I remember Rachel.
Phenomenal vocalist.
Oh,
phenomenal.
Crazy.
And to her credit too, like her guitar playing is brilliant too. For like it complements her vocals great. And I remember she was talking about my vocals, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I've got nothing on you when it comes to singing and all that. Like, nothing. And it sticks in my mind because it obviously really helped me progress and keep going with it. And she was like, no, like some of your characteristics you need to work on and all that, but how you hit your notes is just spot on. Like she goes, I'm just really envious of how you just hit the note. You play the guitar, there's that note, and your vocals just come in and you just hit it like nothing. It's like there's that note.
Yep.
And I was like, I never thought about that. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's something that I've got and I can, build from there and really work on.
And again, that's another thing that you wouldn't have found out unless you actually did these gigs and people started telling you about it.
No idea. No, it never crossed my mind. Actually, I kept thinking my voice is really weak and I'm like, it's not deep enough. It hasn't got enough dynamic, enough volume. There's something missing from it. And,
Yeah.
The only thing that was keeping me going was I was just so determined. I was like, you know what? I'm going to think of this like writing a shit song. Because the next song you can write is going to be better, and the next song after that's going to be better. And I was going to keep writing, and I'm going to keep singing and completing songs, and it's going to get better because I'm going to get better at my craft.
Exactly right.
Yep. And that was my main push. And talking to Rachel and things like that at these gigs really helped shape and mold how I was going, and is a huge reason of why I am where I am right now.
Yeah.
I'm just turning through my mind now all the other times where people have come up and commented on my singing and all that, and our playing.
The
we've had a few
compliment
backhanded compliments as well.
Which was, I was just about to say that we've had a few compliments, which is the number one compliment, the backhanded compliment. Looked like you were having fun on stage.
On stage. Oh yes, that old chestnut. Yeah. You look like you're having fun up there. Thanks.
You look like you were having a lot of fun up there. Yeah, we appreciate it. We were having fun, definitely. But yeah, thank you.
I think our first show that we ever did in Bendigo, one of the bands, I can't remember who it was, someone came up and...
Oh, that was at the National, wasn't it, in Bendigo? I think National?
Yeah, which has now turned into
something else, yeah.
Smokey's Bar now. So I'm like, such a shame. Such a great venue. I can't remember the compliment that we got from them was... it was something along the lines of, you seem so, like you seem extremely focused. Was it focused on stage? You seem really focused and technical, like to make sure you got everything spot on. was something like that. It was like, all right, you're saying that we're boring, we don't move around much. That's fine. You can say that. Like, that's fine. Because that was the case.
The funny thing was, though, yeah, that definitely was. But the funny thing was, that was our very first electric gig that we played at Bendigo. So we were all, I think, crapping our pants big time because we're like, this is it. This is the start. This is felt like at that time make or break. But yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And because it was that thing, it's like, all right, acoustic's going good, so we're gonna really put our feet in the water and see how this electric goes. I think how we approached it was really well, though, because we came up with a set list, and I think we did 10 weeks in a row where we rehearsed.
Yes,
every week.
Lot of rehearsal. Yep. Sometimes I think even leading up to it was like almost 2 times a week.
Yeah.
With 2 weeks or 3 weeks beforehand.
I think we did exactly what we needed to do to make sure that we're going to perform to our best of what we can without any stage experience as a group together.
Yeah, definitely. I'd never underestimate the amount of practice that you need before a gig, because once you actually get up there, whatever you were thinking of just goes out the window. You forget about everything, and you just solely rely on whatever it was that whatever your fingers remember on playing.
Because I remember I remember for that first gig, I had this big effects unit for my guitar. It was way too big. It was huge. It was huge, about 3 foot long.
I remember that.
Why the hell I had it? Anyway, so I got that I was juggling with. Sorry?
You used one thing on it.
Yeah,
it was massive. It had like 15 million different buttons. You used one thing on it.
Yeah, I used like 3 buttons on it. Like, I was like, all right, fine. Which is why I downgraded. But before I downgraded, I had that. And with Maddie's big drum kit and with the mic stands and that I had, I only had about 1.5 foot between where I was singing on the microphone and the microphone to the kick drum. So I remember at my first gig, I was more paranoid, not of stuffing up, of making a fool and kicking a mic. That was my biggest fear. Was like, I don't want to be one of those jerk musicians that trash venue equipment, even if it's by accident. It's still not cool.
Yeah, mine was tripping over the lead.
I had that fear as well.
I was like, here we go, faceplant time.
Yeah, because I've done, my previous experiences of doing backing vocals and playing guitar live. But singing live, I don't know what the hell it was, singing and playing live that first show. I just had this thing where I was like, the guitar cable doesn't feel right. This mic cable doesn't feel right, and something wrong is going to happen. So I think that's why I was not moving around much, because I was more like, you know what I mean? I hadn't found that comfort spot on how to set everything up yet. And I'm like, something is going to hit and go wrong.
I think
it didn't, but
No, exactly right. It never does. And again, even if it does, it looks like it's part of the show because no one knows anyway.
Exactly.
It took us probably a good, maybe 2 or 3, maybe even 4 actual electric live gigs before we got into the comfort zone of being on stage, to the point where I think we've had a lot of people coming up to us and say, how do you guys get in sync with your movements that you do and not hit each other in the head? Because if you guys have ever seen any Shadows of Bay film clips, it looks like we're about to headbutt each other. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, I think, definitely. So, I don't know. Yeah, well, probably would have been 4 or 5 shows. But, there was definitely that evolution in our stage performance where we just found our comfort spot on know our songs well enough in our set on when to leave our microphones, when to leave our positions, gel with our band members, and then get back in time to our position where we need to be when we need to be in whatever song and case needs for. And that's when we really started to turn more heads playing live.
Yeah, the energy on stage, which as much as the confidence, the compliment, of you had a lot of fun up on stage, we love to put an energy show on. Yeah. We couldn't stand still. Well, you had to because you had to sing into the mic. Me, I didn't.
I struggled a few times. There were plenty of times where, like, I remember one time we played the Espy.
Oh, that was fun.
I loved it. With at the basement.
Mm.
What was that band called?
Cole?
Belt. Sorry?
Cole.
They were. That was it. Yeah, I was actually speaking to the vocalist online the other day, going,
Yep.
I miss you on the stage with them, because we played a fair few shows with them and they were awesome.
Yep.
But I remember that gig, I was really getting into it because we met up with them beforehand and we hanged out and, we were just all buzzing and like ready to go. And the amount of times, I think it was my inner lip was cut during the show. Because I was so excited and I was dancing around, I kept misjudging because I had the spotlight on me where my microphone was. And I kept hitting it with my mouth. And I hit it that hard that many times and my lip was bleeding and I was tasting my own blood during the gig. And I'm like constantly like turning to the drummer or turning somewhere else and like licking my teeth going, fuck, I hope no one sees all this, because this is not like a gimmick that I'm trying to do. Thinking I'm cool, making blood come out. No, I'm trying to hide it.
That's happened to you quite a bit where you've played injured. Like you played with a broken hand, didn't you?
Oh,
one stage. Was it broken or fractured or dislocated?
No, I dislocated two of my bones playing basketball.
Yeah, that's right.
And I did that I think on a Thursday night and we had a gig on the Saturday. Because I remember I was like, man, this hurts. And you're like, we need to go to the hospital and get it, checked. And I'm like, nah, look, it should be. And you're like, no, we're going. All right.
That's right. I remember you.
And they made a split for me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, great. And I'm like, well, this is going to have to come off of the gig. So, oh, well. And I tell you what, it was hard. Because I remember playing, because we did a rehearsal before the gig. And I remember the drummer was like, that sounded weird. What was up with that? Something's not right. And I'm like, yeah, it's my playing. Like, it's not on point. Because I had to alter some of the chords and how I played it. Because my hand is just in that much pain. I'm like, I can't physically play these chords like I normally do. So
you have a tendency to actually spread your fingers out that much that it's like it's ridiculous. Yes, change up the chords. But again, no one else knew. So it sounded fine.
We got through it and we did it.
Yeah,
there's another show which I had a really sore throat, like it was burning, and I remember I had that numbing spray.
That's right. I bought you a little spray thingy that would actually numb your throat.
So every third song or something, I was running to the drum kit and I was like, back against the crowd, just go, stuck in there. That was a gig where I was like, it was at the Barleycorn and that was still going. And I was like, I'm having so much fun. But I need this to be over because this is not fun for my throat, but it's fun for my soul. It's really weird conflict and dilemma I'm having right now.
Yep.
That was a band we played, which I never knew their band name because they said, we'll do the show, but under a false name.
That's right.
They had a manager and they said, you're not allowed to do any shows until this gig, but they wanted to get some their gig fitness up and get some practice up.
Yeah.
So they said, you're not allowed to use our band name. I'm like, well, we can't put no one on this flyer.
Yeah, so what do you want to be
anything?
called?
So I think we made up a band name for him. Like, all right, you're Watts and Watts. You're like, excellent. I'm like, okay, sure.
Sure. That's right. Because I called him out on stage. I didn't know what their band name was called either. But I'm like, make sure you stick around for, I can't remember what name we gave.
What they were called.
But I was like, make sure you stick around for these guys if that's what you're really called. So yeah, they were a fun bunch of guys though, amazing guys.
Yeah, they're fun. They're cool.
Shed stage with so many bands that were just amazing people as well, and they go back to the
musicians too. Like, some great ones. Look, and I'm very fortunate. Like, we met Calling Utopia. I don't know how we met Calling Utopia. I'll think about that one and come back to everyone later on. But like we shared the stage with them plenty of times, doing like some of our charity work and some of our other stuff that we did. And then they asked me later on to help them out and play bass with them.
Yep.
I ended up doing a handful of shows with them playing bass. So
Yeah.
I love that experience. It was great.
Everybody's in there to help each other out.
Yeah, like Jess from Calling Utopia did backing vocals for Come Undone for our first demo that we put out to the radios.
Yep.
Can't remember when that was, but whenever we did that. Yeah, I remember what house I used to live at and what studio I had set up, but I just don't remember what year it was or how long ago.
It's a problem. You've moved around that much that you can't remember exactly which one it was.
That's how I live my life, about the four walls, not by a calendar, clearly.
No.
Oh, no, really good times. Yeah. All right, so is there anything else you want to do to wrap it up? Because I'm very keen to pick this up again.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think there's lots of things that we haven't touched base on, and I'd still definitely like to talk about and chat about. Yeah, there's heaps. There's heaps. But yeah, look, hopefully you've enjoyed this. I've definitely enjoyed this chat.
Oh, it's been fun. Reminiscing's always fun. Oh,
absolutely. And I'm hoping to get some other musos on here as well, and you yourself, hopefully you can get some other people to chat to too.
Yeah.
And keep this community spirit going in these challenging times.
Yep.
And yeah, is there anything else you want to say to everyone before we say goodbye?
Again, just for those that are looking at getting into the music scene, the community is great. You're never going to feel alone. Get yourself a guitar. That's generally the best way of doing acoustic. Get a guitar. You can do a bass. I'm doing an acoustic show bass soon, hopefully.
Yes. Do it.
But yeah, no, don't be afraid to take the plunge, because it is absolutely amazing and wonderful once you actually get into it.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Absolutely. All right. Well, keep track for part 2 of this. We'll pick it up. If you've got any other comments or ideas or any questions or anything or any topics you want us to touch base on, let us know. And we'll try cater for however you want, because, yeah, this is all new to us still, and we're still trying to find the best way to keep connected and to communicate with everyone. So, yeah, definitely let us know. All right. Until next time, everyone.
Yeah.
Stay safe.